Arsenal's title hopes were hit with a hammer blow when it was confirmed that Bukayo Saka could be out for months. He suffered a hamstring injury in the win at Crystal Palace and will miss some big games in the coming weeks. Well, let's speak now to former Arsenal striker Alan Smith. Alan, a very good afternoon to you. Just how much of a blow is his injury to Arsenal's title hopes?
Of course, it's a blow to the team, the football club, Joe, to lose one of their talisman. He's at the heart of most of the good things that Arsenal do. He scores goals, he makes goals, and he's there day in, day out, isn't he? So now they're going to have to adjust. Hopefully it won't be too long, but, you know, to see him limping off on crutches, I know they use crutches now more of a precaution as maybe they would have in the past, but it's clearly a serious injury, one that you cannot rush. You don't want to be taking chances with a player of his value to the football club. So they've just got to get him right, and they've got to find another way to go about things. This is why you try and build a good, talented, deep squad. And now Mikel Arteta will have to maybe just see things differently. How do we go about the next handful of games without one of our star men?
Yeah, and when you look at how much Saka has played, he's only missed 10 games in the last 172 matches for Arsenal. Was there a sense of inevitability with that current football schedule?
Yeah, I mean, I think Arsenal fans did feel, oh no, Saka's playing again, and he gets a lot of stick. He goes to ground, he gets up, he's limping about, and you're thinking, oh no, please don't play him today. He has played an awful lot. And in these days of sports scientists, when they're talking about, oh, he's entering the red zone, he needs to come out, I don't know. I get the feeling with Mikel Arteta, he's a little bit old school in terms of, oh, he's okay, he'll play, you know, he's fit, he can keep going. And Saka has kept going, and he's delivered performances week in, week out. So as a manager, you think, I don't really want to pull him out of the side because they haven't been quite the same without him. But now, of course, I mean, listen, loads of players at this stage of seasons pick up injuries. We've seen across the board in the Premier League, so many managers suffering, and Arsenal are the same at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking about how important he is. We had a sneak preview of some of Saka's stats there. I think we can look at them again. And in comparison to his teammates, is he arguably the club's most important player?
Yeah, quite possibly. I think, obviously, when Martin Odegaard was out, the boys struggled to create, to score. He came back and there was a marked difference, and then they fell off again. But, yeah, Saka, they give him the ball. He can take the team up the pitch. He can attract players. You know, they don't want to leave 1v1's opponents. And so that leaves gaps elsewhere. And Bukayo's brilliant at releasing the pass into those gaps and finding a free teammate. So, yeah, he's been so important to the side for so long now, but nothing lasts forever. You have got to find another way. Ethan Nwaneri is a hugely talented boy who's probably played a little bit deeper when he's played on that right-hand side, but he's got a wonderful left foot like Saka, and perhaps he could be the man that they turn to. Gabriel Jesus, obviously in brilliant form last two games against Crystal Palace. He can play on the right. So there are options.
And what about January then? Because do you think this will have an impact in what Arteta does? Will it force Arteta into the transfer market?
Quite possibly. Sometimes you have to react to these things, don't you? I don't think any football club likes to shoot from the hip, as it were. There's a planning involved, a structure there where they might have had targets in January, certainly next summer, and the January after that. Now, do they bring maybe a target forward that they were hoping to get in the summer? I don't know. Edu obviously is gone, but his work for the next few transfer windows would have already been laid out. So I don't think that's a problem, but we know it's notoriously hard to get players in, and good players in, the right ones in January, but it can be done. So watch this space.
But let's start with that big news that we heard yesterday. Bukayo Saka facing a lengthy layoff. How damaging is that for Arsenal?
Well, it's a huge blow for Arsenal. We know how good Saka has been over the years of breaking into the first team, and he doesn't miss many games. So this, for Arsenal and for him individually, it's going to be a big blow because it's new for him. And we've always looked around Arsenal. He's always been the player that has been on the team sheet. So hamstrings are never good the way Bukayo plays. He's quick, he's powerful. Everything's done at 100 miles an hour. So certainly with a hamstring, you have to rehab it right, take your time, and make sure you don't rush it, because I've been there and done that and come back too quick, and that just can't happen. But for Arsenal, I mean, this is a huge, huge blow for him. I mean, he's been magnificent, as I've said, for Mikel Arteta, and real disappointment for him. And it's a massive blow for them in this title race.
Yeah, it certainly is. There's so many things you said there I want to pick up on. Let's start with the kind of in chronological order. What you said is he's so key for them. But what you also said was that he's been there all the time. He's been an ever-present. So that inevitably there'll be questions over whether he's been overused by Mikel Arteta. You can understand him constantly selecting him, but has this been a factor in this injury?
Maybe, but injuries can happen any time of day, anywhere. And unfortunately for him, when he's a sprinter, you tend to get that. I mean, the way he did it, when he crossed the ball, it looked like he struck it with his right foot and then just pulled up. And you thought, how's he going to be? He walked off, or not too bad. You can tend to feel something. But then when you see him on crutches and the way he was going down them steps, you look like it could be quite a while for him, unfortunately. But I've said he's key. Martinelli went onto the right-hand side. Trossard comes on the left. Obviously, Sterling now could get more game time with the amount of games you have. It's always been Saka who started. That has been one position where you go, he's going to start first player on the team sheet, along with the two centre-halves and the goalie. Everyone else, even the midfield, no Declan Rice, he came on and gets a goal at the weekend. But Bukayo has been such a key player for Arsenal, and they're going to have to try and manage without him. We see when big players out there at big football clubs and your best players, we've seen teams struggle, and that is going to be the challenge for Arsenal now.
Right, I'm going to get you to do a bit of educated guessing and me a bit of maths. Seeing as I was in Maths Set 6, this could prove interesting. Right. How many points do you think Saka is worth to Arsenal in a season?
Oh, my word. You've put me on the spot there, Rob. Well, you think how many assists he gets, how many goals he gets, everything comes through him down that right-hand side, even if it's an overlap from a right back. Odegaard finding him in behind. You look at the goals against West Ham, he's just a runner. So now I'm trying to buy some time and put some maths together, which, like you said, Rob, I was never good at maths either. So, I mean, he must be worth 20 points, surely. Maybe more than that. You think how many goals he's involved in, his set pieces that he takes, the in-swinging corners. So that was a round figure. Now you do the real maths, Rob.
OK, so if he's going to be out till March, that's about 10. That's about 10 games. That's what they were sort of guesstimating. So that's about 10 games. Let's do easy maths. That's about a quarter of the season, near enough. So this is going to cost them 5+ or more points for Arsenal, which at the moment they are 6 points behind Liverpool, who have a game in hand. So let's make that 11 with a game in hand, 14. See, the maths was easy, wasn't it? So that was a bit of, not fun, but that was a bit of guesstimating to ask the question, is this enough to rule them out of the title race?
Oh, I mean, when you put it like that, you could say it, but I still see Arsenal being right in the mix. And I was a million miles off that. I still don't. I think he's worth more than that if he is going to be out as till March. 5 points, I think he gives way more than that from the delivery, like I said, the goals, his assists. So forget the maths, just work on what I see on a pitch, and he's so influential. He's a top player. We've seen him for England. So, yeah, I mean, 6 points behind now. When you said 11, I mean, that is it. I saw Liverpool at the weekend. So, yeah, huge miss for him.
Arsenal fans, it's not the news we wanted to hear. Bukayo Saka, the star boy, the heart of Arsenal's attack, is set to miss many weeks due to a hamstring injury. And with Arsenal's title hopes already hanging by a thread, this could not have come at a worse time. Saka's injury occurred during Arsenal's 5-1 win over Crystal Palace, a match that should have been a celebration of dominance. Instead, the sight of Saka leaving Selhurst Park on crutches has left Gunners fans everywhere in despair. It's not looking good. He's going to be out for many weeks. It's a huge blow. He's obviously a big player for us. And Arteta is right. Saka's impact this season has been monumental: 9 goals and 12 assists in the Premier League and Champions League. He's stepped up when Arsenal needed him most, especially during Martin Odegaard's injury absence. But now? Arsenal must adapt, and fast. In January alone, Arsenal face 9 games, including tricky league fixtures against Brentford, Brighton, Tottenham, and Aston Villa. There's also an FA Cup clash with Manchester United and the Carabao Cup semi-final against Newcastle. And looming in February? A showdown with Manchester City. Without Saka, Arsenal's squad will face a massive test of depth and resilience. Players like Gabriel Martinelli, Leandro Trossard, and Kai Havertz must step up to fill the void. But let's not forget Arsenal's record without Saka is, well, mixed at best. This season, Arsenal scraped a 1-0 win against Shakhtar Donetsk but lost 2-0 to Bournemouth when Saka was absent. And while they managed to win all 3 league games he missed last season, this current campaign feels different. The stakes are higher, and the margin for error slimmer. Arsenal are 6 points behind league leaders Liverpool, who still have a game in hand. The title race is slipping away, and the absence of their star player makes it even harder to close the gap. But Arsenal have overcome challenges before. Can they rally together, find solutions, and keep their title hopes alive? Or will this injury prove to be the turning point that derails their season? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more Arsenal updates.